So welcome back to Hot Rod High School, and in today's class we're going to be going over dismounting and remounting a tire using this tool here, our Coates 2020 tire machine. So coveralls on, safety glasses on, let's get to work. We're going to start off here by going over what the controls do. So this lever right here, when pushed down, is going to operate our two bead breakers. So you can see how one arm comes up and breaks the bottom bead away. One arm comes down, breaks the top bead away. So our multifunction bar, this side here is used to remove the tire from the bead. And this one over here, this hooked end, is going to be used to reinstall the tire back onto its bead. It's also operated with the right hand pedal. So you can see that when the slot on the bar is put over the pedestal on the machine, hit that pedal, and it rotates around to either remove or reinstall the tire on the bead. So let's get started. We're going to take our tire here, we're going to put it onto the pedestal, and we're going to make sure that one of these lug nut holes goes through this little bar right here, or else the tire can rotate around as the bar ends up turning. And then we also need to put on a centering cone and then put on our lockdown screw. So you're going to need one of these Schrader valve tools, and it just has this little opening, this little notch on it that can fit down into our Schrader valve, and that's the little valve that allows air to go into your tire but not to release from your tire when you don't want it to. By pushing in on the little peg right in the middle of the valve, it can release air from the tire. But we need to remove the valve completely in order to do this procedure. So we'll take our Schrader valve tool, insert just like so, turn it lefty-loosey, remove the valve, and we're going to let all the air out of the tire before proceeding. So making sure all the air is out of the tire, completely important with this procedure. We need to make absolute sure that there's none left in there, just on the case of it could cause some kind of an explosion, debris to go everywhere. I've even seen it where the old style cans of Fix-A-Flat, they use propane as the propellant. You got to think, why am I taking this tire off? Could it be that it had a puncture in it and we need to remove it for repair? If somebody's used an old bottle of Fix-A-Flat on this thing and it's filled up with propane, having that compressed under pressure, the tiniest spark turns this tire into a bomb, so we want to make sure to get all that pressure out of there before we go forward. Next up, we can go through and break both of our beads. So we're going to take this arm here, we need to hook it over the top, we need the shovel to be over on this end right here so that it's only on the tire, and then the hook needs to go up over here so that it goes onto the edge of the rim. And you can use a little piece of felt tape on the hook there to make sure that you don't mar up your rim if you have a nice rim that you're working with. So now, when I push down on the right hand pedal, this shovel right here is going to come down and break the bead off on this side, while this one comes up from the bottom and breaks it off on the other side. So it's all done in just one motion. And just to ease the aid of removal, I'm going to take a little bit of this tire lube here, just put it around there. Makes it a little bit easier to come off, absolutely critical when going back on. Now, in order to get the top bead off, I'm going to take the removal end of my bar here. I'm going to slide this underneath the bead, and I want the slot to be perfectly in line with the pedestal right here. So down underneath, dig in, And then what I got to do is push down on the opposite side, and that's going to get me down underneath the edge of the drop center on my rim. Down, up, and over, and now I'm able to remove the tire. So I'm just going to hold my bar in place just like so. I'm going to hit that right hand pedal once again, and the top bead's going to come off. Now I'm going to pull this tire up once again because I want the tire to sit down in this drop center area in the rim. That drop center was put in there just to aid in the removal and installation of our tires. I'm now going to dig the removal end of my bar down underneath that edge there of the bottom bead. I'm going to lift up and over, and once again set that down on my spindle. Hit that right hand pedal. And my tire is removed. At this point, you can do any repair to the tire or discard the tire for a new one, whatever the reason is for removing your tire. I'm going to once again take a little bit of that tire lube. I'm going to go through on the inside of my bead here on both sides. And this is really going to aid in the installation process. To reinstall a tire, lay the tire down over the machine like so. You're going to take the hook end of the bar, and it's going to go right against the edge of the rim. So it'll go on there like this. We'll get as much of the tire under this section of the rim as possible and hit this lever, and that motion will get our tire to reinstall. And this part is definitely a technique. So the way I have it set up here, the back end of the bead is down underneath over here. The front end comes up and over, and it actually holds my bar in place just like this. That's the key to making this an easy job. So once set up like this, we'll hit that right hand pedal and reinstall the bottom bead. Okay, now we got to put on the top bead, and this is where I teach a principle that I call tire CPR. We're going to set it up basically the same way as the bottom bead, where we have the arm where it comes up over the bead right here. This portion of the tire pushed down as far as we can into the drop center area. And then as this bar goes around, we're going to follow with our right hand pushing down, making sure this area always stays in the drop center area. So I'm pushing down right here. And I'll take my other hand and follow around. So left hand keeps this side right here, right hand follows. All right, now we're ready to air up the tire. Really important, you never go above 40 psi when reinflating the tire. There is the possibility that it can explode. Also, needs to be one of these conventional rims. They do have the bolt together rims. You're not going to really see those too often, but making sure that we're just dealing with a conventional rim, never over 40 psi, no matter what type of rim you're dealing with. We're going to take our air hose and put it over our valve stem, and then we hit this right hand pedal here to reinflate. And we're just going to put in enough air to get this tire to go back onto the bead. If the tire is having a harder time going down onto the bead, if you push down harder on the pedal, it does have some air nozzles that'll blow air in from the backside as well and help you with reinstalling that bead. Probably not going to need it this time, but we'll see. We're going to listen for the pop. Should be one, maybe two pops that we hear. If it's only one pop, it's because they both just seated at the exact same time. If it's two pops, then one popped in and then the other one will. There's one, and there's the second one. Now we got to go through and reinstall our Schrader valve. You want to kind of hold on to the Schrader valve tool here because all that air pressure coming out of this tire is definitely going to make it so that it's going to want to blow that thing out. So, the tire inflator on this tire machine doesn't have a piece to push in on the Schrader valve, so we can't properly adjust pressure on this machine using this air hose. Our next step now, and final step, is to remove the tire from the machine, and then we'll use a conventional tire chuck and a tire pressure gauge to set it to the recommended manufacturer's specification for pressure. So, spec for this particular vehicle is 32 psi. So we'll take and add some air and then check, and barely got any in it so far. And, ooh, 31.5. 32 on the dot. Hopefully we took some of the mystery out of using the Coates 2020 tire machine for the few people that are still out there trying to figure these things out. I know some people have some difficulty with them, but if you just follow the process, the machine really will do the job for you. This shouldn't be some kind of nightmare for you to get a tire on and off. Thanks for watching another episode of Hot Rod High School. If your school doesn't offer an auto shop class or you're a homeschooler, we've got the thing for you. That's right, introducing our first ever auto shop in a box. Specifically designed for students between 5th and 12th grade. Our kits include the engine rebuild, the brake line flare, precision measurement, valve adjustment, and an award-winning curriculum. Click the link in the description below to learn more on our website and purchase your kit today, which will be shipped directly to your home. But don't worry, it's not coming in this thing. You can like and subscribe if you want to. It doesn't make a difference to me. But what does make a difference is you shifting your education into high gear with Hot Rod High School. Thanks for watching.